myself, Simon Turkis, and then we've got Laurie McGilvery in the middle and Julianne Nendel on the right-hand side, I guess it will be for you. So last week we kind of started the series, and this week, progressing on from last week's finale, let's say, we're about creating positive habits and sticking to them. So I'll hand over to Laurie. She's going to she's going to moderate this session.
We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk with Simon for a little bit, and we're going to talk with Julianne for a little bit. And they both have really compelling stories that we're going to share with you today about how they made their journey. And it's so important to understand when you're looking to shift habits, you're not changing a habit, you're replacing it with something new, better. That's really important to understand, because changing a habit it doesn't work, it doesn't stick. Replacing a habit with something new, different, better, that is what will work, and that is what will stick. And the repetition, repetition, repetition. And let's start with Simon today. And I know there's a lot of people who are interested in a better health regime, a better eating regime, a better maybe you're vegan, and that's where I really would like to go with this, because that's a major shift. How long ago was it when you became vegan?
That was about, I would say, around 6 years ago when I first started taking the first steps towards becoming vegan. And I didn't jump in straight away like 100%. But that's the same with many other things, I think. You don't have to become super strict about something. It's about taking steps. And as you progress, it'll become easier and easier. And it's not about beating yourself up if you eat a bit of cheese or something or slip up. It's about progress rather than perfection, is something I like to say.
So how did you do that? Did you actually set a goal that you wanted to become healthier? What was your mindset at the time? I mean, I'm going to take you back 6 years, so I'm going to got to get you back to the beginning, because that's where a lot of people are starting right now. And did you set a goal that you wanted to do something particular in your health? You just wanted to be overall healthier, and you felt switching to vegan, studying that about it was better?
Yeah, it's a combination of different things because I'd started watching a few. I think it was a bit of it was a kind of trend at the time, and it's growing all the time now too. But it was the beginning of the massive popularity that veganism's had recently. There was a lot of videos on YouTube and on Netflix about veganism and the benefits for the planet, for your health, and obviously for not harming animals. And I've always been an animal lover ever since I was a kid. I used to be vegetarian when I was younger, then switched back for a time to eating meat. But I decided after seeing these documentaries, the time was right to go experiment with veganism. And yeah, just I pretty much quite quickly afterwards, I started feeling healthier because before that, I maybe had neglected my health a little bit in terms of eating fast food. But yeah, after becoming vegan, I could feel my energy coming back a lot, which is great.
You didn't feel deprived?
No, no, not at all. I mean, there's a few things maybe when I was going out to like restaurants or things or cafes or just in the supermarket, it might have been it was a bit difficult sometimes. But I would say pretty early on, I actually probably because it might have been because I had been vegetarian before, but I found it quite easy quite early on. Um, and also not as I said before, not beating myself up if I did. It was more, I would say, other people, funnily enough, they would, if I maybe ate something that had an ingredient like it might have milk in, they would say, "Oh, but you're not being a perfect vegan." But I never really said, yeah. Some family members and other friends made kind of jokes about that, but I think it's because veganism has been seen as a bit of a wacky kind of hippie thing and a bit out there and weird, but it's become a lot more mainstream now. So I don't
Huge,
think,
huge. It's huge here. there's all the shops. It's no problem to go find whatever you need here. 6 years ago, though, you're talking, it was much more difficult. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so we eat mostly vegan, but we eat fish. We have fresh fish right from the sea here all the time.
Mhm.
We eat eggs once or twice a week. So we're not strict vegan, but we do have days. We have vegan days that, we just do
And I
and
think
don't feel deprived at all, ever.
good, good. And that's become a big thing here as well. Like people, maybe they don't label themselves as vegan, but they're definitely. Just read the other day. I think it's something like 60% of British people now are reducing the quantity of meat and dairy and animal
Yeah,
products they eat. And it's because of their health, but also because of all the stuff that's being reported in the news about climate change. And I mean, Greta Thunberg's had a big impact on that, I'm sure, and that kind of
sure.
her followers, like promoting the idea of veganism and how it's
Yeah,
good for the planet.
yeah. But it's great for your body and your health for sure. And there's plenty of ways that you can get all of your proteins and all of that. You have to study it. You can't just throw yourself into it. And I know that there's some people, though, I want to make sure that we, talking about this part of health and healthy eating is some people do this as a place to hide anorexia.
Hmm.
And this is where we're going to head over and have a bit of a chat with Julianne about her younger years. Um, that that people will do things saying that they're doing it for whatever health, but they're actually hiding anorexia behind it. So we want to be sure, as we're talking about these things, we're making sure that people understand this is about health. This is about your health and studying it to do it the right way. So, Julian, you had amazing story from when you were young, and it was actually about goal setting. And your parents were just brilliant the way that they handled um, your big goal that you had. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it and the
Well, it
backstory of what we were just talking about with the health
sure,
part of it?
sure. Well, it was when I was 15, basically 15. I turned 16. I set a wrong goal for wrong reasons, actually. Not like Simon, with the intention of eating healthier. Uh, Back then, I did not really study enough about what I was eating. It just popped into my head that I needed to lose weight. That I needed to lose weight because I had something stuck in my head that my body was not good enough, or that I had had a
Simon,
big
could you turn your
problem.
microphone off?
Me, yeah, yeah, sure.
There's a bit of feedback coming through.
Feedback is good. Okay. Well, um, and that kind of goal that I set, to lose weight, because I did not really like my body at that time, and it was the same body that I have now, basically. And I can still wear the same kind of clothes, but at that time, um, at the age of 16. I had in my head that it was not the right body, so I started dieting, and it got, um, as I saw results very quickly. It got into a spiral where I got so sucked into losing more and more weight, and within a few months, I had dropped 20 kilos, nearly, yeah, well, nearly 20 kilos. So I went from, say, 53 kilos to 36 kilos at that time, and had the same height. So yeah, that could only been resolved by or replaced, like you said, Laurie. A bad habit you can only replace with a better habit. But obviously, when somebody tells you, oh, well, you have to gain some weight because your health is suffering. At that age, maybe you don't want to listen. You
In
just
your mind, you were doing it to lose weight,
exactly, and I look
where
great, and all
Simon
the
was
others
talking
were
about doing it
at
for health purpose. You were
exactly.
not in that thinking of health purpose. You were
No,
thinking in what we were talking about last week, living from the outside in.
yes,
Simon
exactly,
was thinking living from the inside out, and you were thinking living from the outside in. These are the differences, and they're really important
yes,
to
and
understand.
I mean, we're talking about it was in the 90s, 96 it was at that time, and it at that time we didn't have internet, so I think nowadays can be even more dangerous if you
Yeah.
focusing too much and comparing too much.
Magazines and models and
Exactly,
yeah. So what
exactly.
happened then? Roll forward a bit. You had this big goal and dream. You are from Germany. You were
Yes,
living in Germany. You were how old again?
I was 16. Yes,
16 years
and
old. And
so I
you had
go
this
ahead.
big dream idea. You came home from school and said to your mom and dad, what?
Well, that was already before I started with my crazy idea, but to be anorexic. But I wanted my huge dream was to live abroad in the U.S. and everything was already set up to live and go to school in America,
You were doing exchange
and then
student, right? Exchange
exchange. Yes,
student? Yeah.
exactly. So everything was already clear, and then this anorexic period came in between, and my parents, the only way out was to drag me to the doctor, and then my mom, she had talks with the doctor, obviously, and they, the only way they both came to get my head around was to talk to me and set a higher goal, which was in that case going to America. And they said, okay, well, if you want to go to America, you have to prove us and show us that you are capable of taking care of yourself. Because I mean, although you're going to be living with a family over there, we cannot have them yeah, taking care of you. You have to do that for yourself, and you need to prove and show us. So well,
Self-sustainability, which is what we
exactly,
talk about all the time. You
and
had to be
exactly
self-sustainable in order.
at that age, of course, it was. I wasn't even aware of self-sustainability. That it
Of
was
course.
not a big thing back then. And if your head is so so clouded with your own inner image, then oh no, go away, self-sustainability. You know, I have my reasons, and you can go. But that desire to be going to the US was so huge, and that goal of mine was bigger than actually dropping or or just mm, giving in only because of my weight issues, which there were no weight issues,
And
I
you had
made
to,
it up.
and intermixed in all this, you had to learn English.
Well, improve English, let's say.
Amazing. So you went to America. You became an
Yes,
exchange student.
I
So
went
you
to
did what
America.
you had to do. How hard was that? You had this
No,
giant goal.
it was, I think it saved me back then. And of course, when I like, let's go back a little bit before I entered the plane. It was that I tried to get very creative, hiding my eating habits from my parents and the doctor, of course. But after a while, I mean, in first week when they weigh you on the scale, then it's still okay. But after 3-4 weeks of weighing, and you still weigh the same, then something has to change, right? So I gained weight slowly but surely. I gained weight, but then I thought to myself, I thought, okay, well, in America, I'm gonna drop that weight again anyway. But it wasn't that way, and I can tell you that in America I gained weight, but I had the optimum conditions to be going to America.
Yes.
So I came back with the same 53 kilos I had before I started being anorexic. So
So, so creative. Your parents joining up with
yeah,
the doctor and getting the help and using that giant goal you had
yes,
to help motivate you in the most positive ways. Just the
absolutely.
whole encompassing of it was just incredible. And they
Yes.
were working to help you understand better health.
Yes, and I mean, it impacted quite a lot, because after being back to my normal weight, which is the comfortable weight I have, and it's healthy and balanced. I think I came to realize how important it is to create good good eating habits, and and that you don't need to deprive yourself of food, um, or or even go a little bit deeper, actually, because there's always a root down there. The cause of why it all started, it was
Self.
because obviously at that time, at that age, I really did not not see myself, and I did not accept myself being more female like at that age. And
Mm,
back in the 90s, the heroin chick was like Kate Moss style, very skinny and like
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. So that was this image that was created externally, and was so much represented, and that that I took it in, and yeah, and I took it in the wrong way. But that huge goal was bigger than that, and it helped a lot to move in the right direction again, and that's,
And
I
then
think, the only way out.
and then you came back from America from your foreign exchange student, and you told your parents that I'm going back, which helped keep all of this flowing and keeping the good habits going. And
Yes.
you were going back for the whole year then, because this was a short
No,
term, right? This 6 months,
no,
was it?
the first time I was 13 when I went to America for a real
Oh,
exchange, and the
okay,
second time was
okay.
the time period.
So this one was the year when you went
Yes,
back for the year. So
exactly.
that was a long-term sustained repetition, repetition, repetition in order for you to
Exactly.
maintain that huge goal
Yes. Yes,
and
and
succeed. And so that recreated new habits, new better habits for you.
exactly. And I have to say that the time period in America was great. Traveling broadens your horizon anyway, but seeing and experiencing different food from all sorts of other countries, that I hadn't tried before. That made it also quite inviting to try out new things, of course, and
Because
not stay
there's food from every country that you can imagine there.
exactly. And then those, I remember my host family and we went every Sunday. We went to the farmers market. So farmers market was a big thing. And every time I go back to the States, my friend Bridget, she always makes sure that we go to the farmers market back and enjoy all that lovely
All the
food,
fresh,
all fresh
all the
food.
fresh farm food.
It's,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So the whole thing created just better,
Better habits,
repetitious habits.
absolutely.
So it
Yes.
doesn't go. Let's go back to Simon. Could I have you shut the microphone off for a second, Julianne, because
Yeah.
it's echoing when they're on. When you were making your switch, Simon, you had a different motivation. You were wanting to do it for health and for the social community, the world, betterment of you ripples into the effects of betterment of the whole. And we started to talk about, these things don't happen overnight. You don't get to where you are today, 6 years later, of this repetitious habit that you don't even think about those things today. You know what to do. You probably got some fabulous recipes. And I'll tell you what, the vegan recipes that are out there today are just over the top, out of this world. They're gourmet. We have the vegan cooking workshops that they do here, and they're this fabulous gourmet cooking. I think they do that over in Tenerife as well, don't they? And just amazing. So for you, Simon, it was step by step by step. You just have to start. You have to decide. You have to make it a goal that's a driving goal,
Yeah.
and it has to be big enough. There has to be enough reason and passion behind it. So just very quickly, I realize we're coming to the end of our 30 minutes. Very quickly, what do you remember some of the things that you did, those first steps? Can you remember back to some of the first steps you did?
I started checking out different blogs and recipes online, and I started going to and in the supermarkets, I just started searching out where you could get alternatives, like different types of milk, like soya milk and oat milk and all that kind of thing. And then in a way, it was easier in some respects at restaurants because you would only have maybe one or two choices, so you didn't have to.
6 years ago, for sure, yeah.
You didn't have to study the whole menu. You could just say, "I want this. I'll pick that because that's the only I can eat." But just on a broader issue, in a sense, in terms of like not just the veganism, but like other things I've found very recently, or in the last couple of weeks, I've got back into the habit of when I wake up, I write down. First of all, I write down three things that I'm grateful for. Then I write down three short-term goals, like what daily goals for the day, and then I write down three kind of longer-term goals. And it's through having those goals, like the goals for the day, that sets you up for the day and gives you something to focus on. And then at the end of the day, even if you've achieved one of them or one or two of them, you feel like you've actually achieved something in that day.
And do you beat yourself up if you don't?
No, I don't get annoyed at myself, but I'll think, I'll try and I might set so I try and get it done.
Yeah.
But the longer term goal, I mean, to get it done for the next 5 years or something, and when you cement it in your mind, like say, for example, I want to move abroad again with my girlfriends, hopefully to somewhere in South America, potentially maybe Costa Rica. It gives me that drive to work hard and save more money, not waste money on silly things, learn Spanish again properly, or try to learn Spanish or improve my Spanish, let's say. So that's the kind of thing definitely recommend to people if you're feeling a bit lost or you feel like every day kind of drifts by without doing anything positive or not achieving anything, then try and write down some goals at the beginning of the day for both the day and for long term.
Juliana and I do the same thing, very similar. We have journals that we use and do very similar. Maybe if we make a sheet, just a one-page sheet, and we put it into this week's episode, like I did last week, we gave everyone a handout, sort of. I'll put it. We can make a sheet for them of this is what will set up your day.
Good.
Yep.
Excellent.
How to set your goals, whatever they are. And I think I love it. I love it. Thank you for bringing that out, because we just do these things. We don't even stop to think about them. We just do them. It's just part of our habits every single day to set up our day properly, to set up the best day possible. Whatever the goal is, it's individual. You know, my goals are different than Julianne's goals, and they're different than your goals. And I really want to hear more about this huge goal you have coming up that you've been setting. I want to hear about this place you're talking about going.
Oh, Costa Rica. Just, I'm not sure. I think it was about maybe a year ago or so. I just started thinking more and more about Costa Rica because I've read so much about how they're very different from a lot of countries. They really focus on sustainability and protecting the environment, and they don't have a military, which I think is great. They're much more into peace and this idea of pura vida, I think the term is, so pure life.
It's in your
yeah.
thinking and beliefs, yeah.
And yeah, really, it does connect with a lot of things I hold dear in my life. Like,
I think I'm going to write that down on our list of topics. We've got about 20 now. I'm going to add that to the list of topics that we talk in depth about this place that you're talking about. It's phenomenal. It is really amazing what they're offering. They're offering people to come there and stay and work through all the COVID-19 right now. They give people a place to work. Is that they're working, distance working?
well, they're a lot of places now, like Bermuda, Barbados, and I think Costa Rica. They're trying to set themselves up for distance working, remote workers, and I really think this is a huge opportunity for the Canary Islands to do that as well, rather than focusing on mass tourism. Try and
love for you to share this. I'm going to write that down.
Set that goal.
I think we're probably at about the end of our 30 minutes. Is there anything more you wanted to add, Julianne?
No, it's been great again, and I'm looking forward to the next one. There are so many topics to share, and my mind is working.
Absolutely. And what about you, Simon? Is there anything more you want to add before we say goodbye?
Well, I'm glad we got to go live this time. I'm using a new program called Restream, which Laurie recommended. And I'm streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, our Facebook page, Twitter. So next week when we stream at the same time, hopefully more of you guys can join us. And leave any comments, because we can see the comments while we're streaming, and we can answer any questions you have.
Absolutely. We can answer questions live. And this will be recorded as well, and we'll put the recording into the 30-minute Mastermind page for people, and we'll be sharing it out there again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I love our 30-minute Mastermind, and we'll see you again next Friday at 3 o'clock London time, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So have a great week.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.